enjoy the show. Play on my channel.
Tis another Tales of the Hunted, gang, and the hunt is on. I am your host, Matthew Bucarell, the Mat Man, and we have co-host Frank Percy, One Punch himself. He doesn't like that name, but I'm going to stick with it. And our special guest for this hunt, the person we want you all to hunt, and he's probably coming near you. I know he's probably going to be at a certain Comic-Con coming to media in April this year. So 2024, we started off with Mark McKenna. We had Johnny Necro and Jim Cantinelli back on. Really great podcast. We had Delco Batman on at the end of last year. And I thought, what better a way to start off 2020 than another local superhero, Delco Spider-Man himself, man, because I've been watching you for a long time, not to be like all, super fan on that, but, not like a Marvel fan, like I've been watching you, Spider-Man. Like, none of that. The stuff you do and you post out on social media is really honestly good work for the community. And I mean, honestly, I'm really glad there is this niche in nerddom to where a person can just get a really cool costume and go out and be that character, because kids, old people, adults, everyone loves a good superhero, especially when I was messaging you and you're like, I don't know, man, hang on, let me check with MJ. I was like, love that. Love that.
Yeah, you got an MJ,
Over the holidays, you're like, I went out to Aunt May's, and I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. I don't have my mask anyway, so it's fine. The work you do. We start off with your spider origins. What was the spider that bit you? How did you get into this good work?
Actually, I lost my job.
That's a quick way to do it. That's a quick way. Yeah.
Hey, what can you do, right? Hey, I lost my job.
Following a guy in California who does this for charity.
Okay.
And just been watching him for a while. I grew up reading the Spider-Man comics, so this version of Spidey is my favorite. So,
which one is this? Which one is this Spider-Man?
Sam
is your favorite?
Raimi?
What was the first one? What was the first book that you picked up that was Spider-Man?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh God, that's a great one. I'm not sure. See, my mom used to go antiquing all the time, and she would bring home boxes of comic books.
Oh, wow!
I was adopted myself, so
okay.
For that kind of association, and that was pretty much who Peter Parker was, who I just kind of linked in. He was quiet, but he was observant. He wanted to do good, and he was, had a good head on his shoulders per Aunt May and whatnot, and I believe that that's what my parents have instilled in me. So I reached out and I asked him, I lost my job, so I had some time. So I hopped online and said, how'd you get started with things? So he said, just reach out to costuming groups in the area. Now, this was 2017. So at that, I could only find about 3 of them in the area, and none of them came down to the Delaware County region. The ones in Jersey went to Philly. The ones in Philly stayed internal. I didn't really find anything out in Chester County, so I said, you know what? Let's give it a whirl. So I ordered my suit. I got it through RPC Studio. My first suit was through them, and 8-9 weeks later, I came on in, and it was about Labor Day time. So I took some photos up north, up in New York with my brother, and then started posting that online and reaching out and saying, hey, I just wanted to know that, Delco Spidey's here. Here's a link to my Facebook page. If you guys have any, want to color outside the box and give this a try, I'll be more than happy to volunteer my time and swing on by to you. And before you know it, I did a birthday party. That was the first event I ever did out in the YMCA out in Berwyn for my friend's son. It was his 7th-year birthday. So we're climbing all this stuff, and Spider-Man, come over here. So just kind of web on up and help them out. And I know you're falling off the edge, so grab them and save the day kind of thing. And then the parents jumped in, got out of the jungle gym. The parents were like, "Ooh, can we get pictures too?" So sitting there.
That's awesome.
So he's been around for a while, so parents know him too. I'm sure even grandparents know Spider-Man.
Everyone knows Spider-Man.
With adults at this time than I have with kids, and it's always the same thing. Oh, this is for my son, or this is for my my grandson or my granddaughter. They're gonna love it.
Sure,
it's framed in their man cave right there.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, guys, you're not fooling me.
Before you know it, first year I was doing an event every weekend. So I do at least 2 events a week,
Nice.
and then the name was out there. And then, I'm working with the Rothman Institute and, I'm reaching out and I'm working with the Phillies. And then a friend of mine had a blood drive, and he had the Philly Fanatic there as his guest. So he's like,
wow.
Nice. So I go into the back and I get to meet and talk with the Fanatic. We had a good 15 minutes. And he went through everything, this is what I do that works. This is what we do as a Phillies organization. This is how many events we do per year. Just keep going. And he autographed and sent a picture for me. And it's kind of a good inspiration to leave on my wall to keep and look at and take me back to that single moment and say, this guy basically, pushed me through the doorway a little bit and said, just go, and just do it.
Oh, I got a guy like that. They just kind of say, go, do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
God, they push you out that door. They're just a good shove, and then just, and you're falling.
All you need.
It's like, hang on, I got this.
I'll catch it.
You will figure out how to flap your wings. Well, before you hit the ground.
Yeah.
Usually, but then sometimes you have to get really close to the rocks before you figure it out. Open your wings, and it comes natural. It actually does. So but hey, well that's fantastic, man. I mean,
100%. I mean, especially.
That's unbelievably really cool, man.
Thank you. I had
putting your all into it.
Yeah. Then my parents got involved with it. My mom's middle name is May, so she's my Aunt May in my world. And she, first year out, what she did is she knits hats and scarves for the local church. So what she did, she knit me a bunch of hats and scarves I could take with me and say, this is from Aunt May. And the kid, oh my God. So it was great. Before you know it, I'm working with a couple childhood cancer organizations, and that's what kind of vacuumed me in and kind of pulled my heart in and said, wow, I've had probably 12 different injuries from head to toe for my time and about 3 or 4 different surgeries. And you can feel the difference when somebody, even if it's a stranger comes on into the room and says, hey, how you doing? So when I show up and I'm like, how are you guys? They're like, oh my God, really hit.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. It hits.
So
I'm sure you made their day.
That's Spider-Man.
And I still in touch with a lot of the families from 2017 until now that they visited their son or daughter, or we've been at events and I've met them and they're no longer with us. So we're having memorial events where you come out and spend time with us. You made a huge difference. And I'm thinking, I just put the mask on. I just put the costume on, and they said, no, you are Spider-Man. Your heart came out with what you did, and you just keep going.
100%. 100%. Because I was just about to say, it's especially people that do charity work, and especially people that do charity work, because it really matters to those people in those dark times, and going out and being there. Participation is 80% of it, because anybody can do what you do, but they don't, because they don't have that drive. They don't have that thing behind them that says, you know what? No, man, I need to help people. I need to put a smile on their face because it makes me feel good, and it's what I want to do. And not enough people are doing what you do, especially with it's just that start. It's a simple plan. A lot like when Frank was telling me how to write a comic book. Write it. You do it. And it's that kind of thing to where what you're doing it's something that everybody can get involved in. And that's why I think the people most specifically thank you, because it only takes that focal point for people to actually focus in and say, you know what? I want to go there. I want to do that. And no matter what it is, whether it is charity, an event, you have Spider-Man showing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's behind the mask, because that is ultimately the essence of Spider-Man. Anyone can be behind the mask. It could be me. It could be you. It could be the person watching this podcast. That's the point, and the whole thing that people love about Spider-Man, especially with Spider-Verse. Literally, it's easier for people to conceptualize, like, well, I could be Spider-Man in a multiverse.
Everybody can do it. There's a wide range, and you can just make this help your personality and everything to just shoot on out and see what the world's going to say.
Sure.
There's some things where like people go, oh, you're not really Spider-Man, or like you don't have a mouth, and I'm like, well, the costume basically just amplifies everything for me. I said we all have people to protect. You know, I got my Aunt May and such. I said so. It's good to keep it guessing. So I mean, there's been a lot of events where I show up exactly like this, and I walk out the door exactly like this, and they're like, "Who was?"
Yeah.
It's really cool when we're at the atrium of Nemours, or we're at a different event. You hear the sirens going by, and all of a sudden Spider-Man disappears, and you come out as Peter, and where's Spider-Man? Well, I heard the siren go, so I think he went that way. I'm sure he's always around there, you know?
I would have so much fun with that.
Oh, it's so much. When I see
I think I saw him go down that way.
Yeah. I saw people that I know, and I walk up and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing, Steve?" You know, and they're like, "Who's that?" And, the neighborhood Delco Spidey, and I'll send him a message later, you know, after I take a selfie and send it to him, you know. But the surprise is it's just funny as day. I used to do events at different places where it'd be in like an office or something like that. You know, that's where they have me. So I take a picture, you know, hold the business card, and then like send it to them over the email. Be like, "Hey, thank you for sharing your spot." You know.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, especially businesses. That's something that's very easy to reach out and do. Especially something because most businesses, they do stuff like that just to boost morale in the company if you have a good owner.
Oh yeah. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. And I met a lot of awesome characters along the way too. I had no idea that this world even existed when I was a kid, into an adult.
Oh yeah, as a kid, yeah. I never heard of it. I knew they did it, you know, for like I think the only thing I saw was the Macy's Day Parade, man, back in the late 70s or early 80s. That's it. Outside of that, never heard of it. Never heard of it. So,
I started a group in Reading that I work with, and they have pretty much everybody. I went to my first con event in 2017 up in Harleysville area. It was called Kid. So they had a farmer's market, and in the back of the farmer's market, they had an event for the kids. And this was put on from James Romeo. He's in Philadelphia. He found me somehow, and he reached out and invited me. And I met a group called Cosplayers Care based out of Reading. And Deadpool was watching me. And Deadpool at the end, and he's like, "Spidey." I was like, "Wait," you know? And we talked, and he said what he does. And he said, "I've been watching you. You know, you kneel down to the kids' level. You're not standing over them, so they're not ever." You know, you do the fist pump, you do the high five if they're active about it. If they're kind of like a little shy about it, you put your hand down, palm up, do a low five, and then all of a sudden they're all your friends.
Yeah, it's a very simple tactic, but I used to do the low thing when I was in sales, because if you're lower than a person, you're coming down. You're not. It's an ego thing, really, when you look at it psychologically. But I like those little subtleties because it puts into how much effort you put into the character. You know, you are Spider-Man. You know, it's if you do this long enough, people are looking to you, and you are Spider-Man, because not a normal person is not going to go out there and do that. A person with drive and dedication, especially dedication to their community and building other people up, like we like to do on this program, it really shows. And that's what I think everybody, you know, even going back to 2017, people know Delco Spidey. And now people that don't are going to hunt you. They're going to want you for their business or organization event.
In a good way, you know, in a good way, yeah.
Well, yeah, no Craven the Hunter thing.
No Craven the Hunter type of thing, you know. None of that. You might, but not really.
I was not condoning that. I was not condoning that. Do not hunt this, not in that way. Just go say hi. That's what I mean.
Yeah. That's why I always do my posts if I'm doing something. I'll be sure to say hi, and I'll come up for a high five or something.
Sure.
Since I have pockets in the suit, I use gel bands. Okay. So I have order Spider-Man gel bands from Amazon, or even a lot of people have been so kind to just, you know, purchase them and send them my way because they know exactly where they're going. And walk up and down even State Street in Media, or I'm down a hallway or something like that, just anywhere, and kneel down and do you want a gel band? Sure. Or which color would you like? This one matches your shoes, so we're going to give you this. And then, you know, the child's overjoyed because they have a gel band, and the parents love it because, you know, they get to see the smiles and everything. And just for that moment, the parent goes down to the child's age and becomes a child themselves.
Yeah.
And then, oh, well, can I get a picture too? You know, so they'll jump on it and I'll get a picture with the parent. It's just, I just find it very rewarding.
Perfect key point to that. At the Great Media Comic-Con, I was at the front door. I was checking everybody in most of the day, and then a couple of points when I got to walk out. One of the points, my dad was there, And my dad at one point just walks up to me, and it's me and him, and then we just see Lord Vader walk by. He goes, "Hey, Matt, man, we got to get a picture with Lord Vader." And it was me, my dad, and Lord Vader. I went to Mark, and I'm like, "Hey, man, take a picture of me and my dad and Vader." And even my dad, he's a boomer. He went right back to, he went right back to when he saw those movies. And then when me and him repeatedly watch those movies, it's that kind of thing. It brings you back to a certain time. And that nostalgia is inflamed, especially these days, by the internet. It's one of the glorious parts of the internet is that anybody can find Delco's Spidey. If you just type in Delco and scroll, you're going to find a lot of stuff because Delco is one of those really proud counties that, it's the home of projectors and wall hangers, baby. That's why we got to promote all the Delco stuff. I mean, I look at the stuff that I love. I love Batman. I love Spider-Man. They're two of my favorite characters growing up. Spider-Man, a lot like what you were saying, because anybody could be behind that mask, and especially because he was this nerdy white guy with glasses. He was awkward with people. And then, boom, he's Spider-Man. And everybody loves Spidey. And everybody hates Peter, almost like Chris. Everybody hates Chris, And it's that kind of thing that is a relatability to it. But it also, to that point and nostalgia, it leads to why people are more likely to go out and see a Delco Spidey, a Delco Batman. Because they relate to the character, they have that nostalgia, and I got a kid. They like Batman, they like Spider-Man. Hey, let's go out here and see Spider-Man. You want to see that? I just imagine this little kid. They're on the tablet, they're on their phone, playing video games or whatever. Dad pops his head in. Hey, you guys want to go see Spider-Man? Spider-Man! And they run out the door.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of thing.
It's awesome, and you guys are a very key part to this process as well, an important part of the puzzle. Why? Because there's certain audiences that you guys are reaching that I haven't reached yet, or that don't know that if you type in Delco Spidey, which is very wild to me because it's not at all what I thought was going to happen when I first put this mask on. But I mean, you're now whoever's watching this, it's going to be a conversation piece, maybe at the water cooler, maybe just in the car on the car ride, or maybe something you're going to type on out and we have a Delco Spidey. I hear that a lot, and it's you guys are just that between that and the Great American, the Great Media Comic-Con. There's just now new people are meeting this. You guys had a comic book illustrator there, who was local down in Chester, and he was like, this is what I do. And there's a couple people who I've met, the Books a Million gentleman you guys had there. Yeah. I knew, and it's just I wouldn't have been able to meet Jim. I met him I think when I did an event at the Springfield Mall before with Santa. But that was pretty much the only time. But you guys are allowing other people to know that, if you need a smile, if you need a release, if you just need something as simple as, hey, how you doing from Delco Spidey? That's all you got to do is ask, and it's just considered done.
It's uplifting. It really is. It's American nostalgia. It's really uplifting. I mean, he's been around since the mid-60s. I forget what exact year, but he's been around for a while. So there's never been a decade where he wasn't represented, in some way. Yeah. Even the 70s, they had a Spider-Man TV show. I mean, it wasn't great, but nonetheless, I mean, I watched it for sure. Even though
that Japanese Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was goddamn horrible.
So
Jesus,
awesome.
Wow,
So horrible. It was awesome.
He's been around for a while, so I mean, people seeing that, they just see a bit of, everybody saw it. I don't care what until before 65, they didn't know about it, but after that, if they've been around, they know who Spider-Man is. So yeah, just showing up. I mean, man, it's fantastic.
And Spider-Man in the comics had some of the most interesting stories.
Some of them were very good.
He has the best rogues gallery. I mean, you look at even the Spider-Verse comics where you had these essentially vampires hunting and eating spider people. That's what they did. That's how they lived. Like, I can go for another Spider-Man. That kind of like, oh wow, superior Spider-Man. where Doc Ock takes control of his body. Some of the best stuff ever. And then how Peter has to get his life back together afterwards. And that was one of some of the comics that I really leaned into recently. Have you tiptoed your way into any of the recent comics of Spidey?
Not as much as I guess I should have, because a lot of kids will come up and say, the Ultimate Spidey, or I just watched the cartoon, your Spider-Man and Friends. For me, I remember Spider-Man is Amazing Friends, with Firestorm and Iceman.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah,
but I think it's great that the hero has still survived over all this time. No matter whether it's DC or Marvel, for some reason that is in everybody's head that this is awesome. I'm like, Batman, no way. There's Superman. I was in a parade and the Batmobile showed up, and everybody's like, blown away. Here's the Batmobile. It's recognized. It survived through all this, and it's just something as simple as just putting a costume on, which everybody seems to like to do around Halloween time. But after that, I'm not sure if this is okay. Well, it's okay. You just be you and just enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride.
I mean, maybe not going to Walmart, but
yeah.
Have you seen what goes on in Walmart?
Okay, I should have picked a different.
That'd be a normal thing if you showed up and go to Walmart.
I should have picked a different store, but
it's not really a bad thing,
That'd be a step up. But maybe the point being is like you are one of the reasons why that these characters stay around, because there's one thing of having a good movie, having good content come out on the comics or animated shows, which everybody loves. It's another thing to be able to take it to a local level, because that is one of the things to where anybody can dress up as a superhero and a child will love it. I saw you on the television, or I saw you on Dad's phone yesterday. You're like, yeah, you're right. I'm quick. You know what I mean? It's kind of leaning into it and playing into it. It's a bit of the role play, but it's also you're making that person's day, because by making the child's day, you're making the parents' day, because they're like, thank God they're not crying.
Yeah. Oh, sometimes the eyes have been like, I'm better from a farther distance. Hey, Spider-Man, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Oh my gosh, no! That's sometimes interesting.
That's a perk,
The Santa Claus effect, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to take the whole Mr. Rogers approach to this. Like, let's smile, let's be happy, keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
And just go from there. But the community has been incredibly awesome. With their support over the years. Media's had me in a couple things. People have just stopped me on the shoulder and been like, I appreciate what you do. And only a handful of people know who's behind the mask at this point. Frank knows who I am. But I haven't met you as Peter as of yet. But, but always around.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll get a Doctor Strange going, and he'll just what memory.
Imagine have the whole, dude,
I was thinking
hero universe and just everybody grab a character.
I was really thinking of like what character I would do, but I was like, the only one I'm really if I like break it down nerdy wise, like I'm 5'5". I got Wolverine.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
There you go.
That's a good one. Mask. Claws.
Oh, definitely. I met one Wolverine over all this time, just one so far.
That's why.
Oh, really?
I was
Okay.
like, maybe Doctor Strange, maybe like Green. I was like, I am way too short for those people. If I want to be believable, if I want to be like real and believable, I'd have to shoot for.
Right.
I'd have to shoot for Logan.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 5'7", and I always get. I thought you'd be taller, and I'm like, well, the camera adds a couple inches of height, so.
There you go.
You're always crunched up. That's why you look. I always.
It's in the panel. You're in the panel, so there's no real scale. Well, not much.
Yeah.
There you go. Depends on who draws you,
Yeah.
So, how are you feeling about the movies in general? You obviously your favorite Spidey is Tobey Maguire. There's some talks of him coming back for Secret Wars, which is exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one to come on out.
And especially with Into the Spider-Verse, or not, Into the Spider-Verse, there's been, the last Spider-Man movie, brain farting on the goddamn
Multiverse?
Oh, no, yeah, it's Doctor Strange. And then there was the multiverse.
Oh.
What was the Spider?
Oh, yeah, No Way.
It's been a long day. Yeah, it's No Way Home. I don't know why I forgot about that. But with all the movies, I would imagine out of the recent ones, your favorite would have been No Way Home.
Yeah, definitely. It was something where, there was enough. I don't spend a lot of time online, but there was enough time online that I could see, and you get the teasers, and is it really happening? Is it really happening? Oh wow, this is really happening now. And I remember being in the theater. When I went in the theater, yes, I brought my mask with me. Yes, I had it on my. And then,
As you should.
It's like, oh my gosh, this is great. It was just
Wow.
his age. He still got it, and the way that they kept through him, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland, they just kept the same honesty and simplicity of the character. They didn't embellish it in one way or another. And now with the whole Into the Spider-Verse, I have no doubt that that's probably what they'll do. They'll bring Spider-Punk on out, and they'll just completely let it explode and let the webs fly.
Yeah. Now, were you happy with the Into the Spider-Verse movie?
Yeah, it was. Oh my gosh, definitely. I like the way they respected the character, and this is, I'm Peter. I'm doing this, but I'm this version of it. Oh yeah, I thought it was great.
Oh yeah, I saw you in there. But also, the one thing that I've said it multiple times on the podcast, and I can't backpedal now. But overall, I was disappointed with how they left it on a cliffhanger. One, and I was disappointed with how it felt scattered plot wise. Who is my main character? What's going on here? It kind of felt like they were just trying to cram stuff in here, like they had one idea that was way too much of one movie, and they were like, "Nah, it's fine. We'll just kind of split it."
Yeah,
and that's
the
fear I think a lot of nerds have right now is you're just trying to split it. Because last podcast I did with Frank, Johnny Narco, and Jim, I said, I don't know, man, that Secret Wars, and they're like, well, that was a big thing, and I'm like, yeah, but they always do that.
I figured it was the beginning of the picture. I figured they go with the Secret Wars and do what they're going to do with it, and then it branched out to a Disney Plus thing. All of a sudden you'd see something on, and this is what happened to Spider-Man. This is what's going on. And besides that, just leave it to the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff they can do with that because you have Sony and what they're doing. Because, I mean, they haven't done anything with Spider-Man, but they love to do movies with his villains. And just from what I've seen, they haven't really nailed it. I'll put it because I'm trying to be nice. We got Spider-Man here.
I'd love to see a Sinister Six. I think that would be wild with who they got today's technology.
Absolutely, man. Even the original, I mean, I hate to say the original, Sinister Six, but I'll even take the one from the 80s, the revamped one or redo or whatever it is. Absolutely,
Well, they're one of the groups in Spider-Man that are just like as old as time when you look at Spider-Man, because they keep bringing back this Spider-Man's got to have a Sinister Six. We got to have a Sinister Six situation with this guy. Especially with the multiverse. And you look at Miles Morales, he's very big right now. He has his own Sinister Six of,
Oh, yeah?
He had his own clone, mayhem happen.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of stuff with, Miles, and there's a lot of stuff that they could do, especially in the multiverse, like you're saying, with Spider-Punk. They brought him in on Into the Spider-Verse. And from the comics, which was in the Spider-Verse, the Tomes one that I mentioned, that Spider-Punk was just Miles Morales in like a fucking anarchy world. There's a lot of different stuff you can do with the character because ultimately, like you're saying, they keep that core of Spider-Man the same, ultimately.
Yeah, to me, that's important. I think they're expanding, giving everybody an opportunity to associate with their version of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can do whatever they want to do with it. If you want to go and take it to the street, take it to the street. Nobody's going to know who's behind the mask anyway, unless you want them to.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you're Tom Holland, and you're always taking that goddamn mask off. It's the best part of this podcast. You haven't taken that mask off once. It's been great.
No. I'm used to it by now. I drive with this thing on.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's what.
I'll tell you this: those eyes are a lot more comfortable than the ones I had on in the end credits. Because oh my god, it was on my eyelids, and
Okay.
I just had to go with it. I tried the mask on last night. I was like, this is $20.
I got the old plastic one originally just to try it on out.
Yeah.
To see, what's it look like looking at the eyes, and it's like if I make an OK symbol and look through the center of it, that's what I can see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that material or is that a plastic film? I can't really see. Oh, it's hard plastic, isn't it?
No, it's a material, but I have a plastic.
Material. Okay, I can barely tell. Yeah. Wow. I guess the holes you could see through it pretty well. Well, that's pretty cool.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've
Nice.
looked into it, but I guess I'll put it to you this way: have you looked into the animatronic eye? Like that?
Yeah. Oh, I thought that. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I'm looking
Man.
to switch to the face shell and get something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be awesome because I
Yeah.
got to imagine it's expensive. Like, there's no way that's cheap.
No, my first suit was $750. My second suit also actually was I had two charities come together and put together another $750 to get it for me. And then this is the third one that my friend actually from high school. She's like, I follow you, and it's somebody through high school who I just hey, how you doing? Like come up and down the hallway. Didn't know that they followed me even on Facebook as me. And she's like, I'm seeing what you're doing, so I'm gonna reach out to the high school class, and we're gonna do a fundraiser for you. And they got me this here, which gives me the option that I can keep one as basically, I guess, the best way to say my sterile suit that I can wear to the hospitals, and I can. This is all for them. This is their suit here. Second one is or on the streets, where my hands are down and I'm fist bumping everybody, So I just keep germs A here and B there, and just keep everything sanitary for them.
That's a smart idea, but also that fundraiser. That was your Sam Raimi Spider-Man moment where Joey Diaz is there and he's like, "Come on, pick him up." That was your Spider-Man moment of the community coming and be like, "Nah, man, we got you, Spidey." That's awesome.
That was so awesome. I mean, you just felt the hand coming behind you and hold you on up and be like, "Yeah, this is going to happen. This is going to be okay. You're going to keep going." And it was wow. I'm not married yet. I don't have any kids. Luckily my parents are still with me. So it's kind of like to receive that kind of community hug when I come from a small family. It's like, oh my gosh, this is, as myself. There's a couple tears going down behind this mask,
Oh, I get it. Oh, I 100% get it because, the few points in my life when I have received, actual, genuine thanks from people. It's not lost on me. It does. It hits you in the feels, and especially when you're doing something that you love. It almost feels like, well, why aren't you thanking me? I'm just showing up. Everybody should be doing this.
Right. Yeah.
And it was so cool that now I'd be walking down the streets and I'd be like, it looks like Thor. That's got to be Thor. This guy's shorter. This got to be Ant-Man coming. And then I'll go to the gym and you'll see Thor, the big guy with the ponytail walking around. He's lifting all. I'm like, wow, this really is Thor. And I'm like, look, there's Cyclops over there. He's got the cool band going all over with the school glasses. It's just I can take anybody at this point and be like, all of us have a heroes right inside of us.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. I said it during the Batman podcast. I'm calling out all you muscle men in Delco. Step your game up. You got a pantheon of characters and an internet, okay? Step your game up. Do something for your community. Dress up like a superhero and walk outside feeling weird, because it's going to be the best thing to happen to you in your life, because you're going to change people's mindset. And that's the biggest thing, because we've been talking about how you put the smiles on the face. The biggest thing I find out of that interaction that really matters is you just got off of work. You had a really bad day. It was one that is just still tweaking you. You're in the car and you're just like, why would you put that near the water cooler? You really, you can't stop the anger. And then you got to take your kid to this thing. He's been hyping it up all week. We're going to go see Spider-Man. And then the joy on the kid's face, the fun event, and the time they have, you completely change that one person's mindset to where you literally change their life.
That's cool. That's, even if I meet, 100 different people, if I just make one smile or one whoa moment, that's the only. I could have 10 bad moments. So you're too short. You don't look like him. You don't even sound like him. Blah blah blah. Whatever. That one moment erases everything and makes, whether I was there for 5 minutes or 5 hours, makes that single moment stand on out and the most important thing.
That's why I stayed in the automotive dealership for as long as I did. Because for every, bad customer, which is just a person in the wrong mindset from what I, in my year, over a decade in the business, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm old. But from my time in the business, I've learned you're getting a person in whatever state of trauma that somebody else just left them. So your job in the service industry, especially, is to make them forget that. And an easy, I'm not going to say easy out, but an easy way to quell that bullshit they just went through before is I can't get mad at Spider-Man. There's no way you get mad at Spider-Man and people don't look at you like J. Jonah Jameson. Because you're just going to be a stark raving lunatic at that point. Like, no, you don't get it. He's a minute. I mean, he's bad.
That's pretty good.
You guys don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing. You can't get mad at Spider-Man.
No.
I mean,
And maybe that's your character. Maybe JJ's your character. You did pretty well.
I don't know.
There you go. There you go.
I am a broadcaster, and they switched him from what was the editor to no, he lost his job at the Bugle, and then he got a job as a podcaster.
Wow, I totally missed all that, man.
I've seen so many memes on Facebook to where they have those panels, and it's just like, well, actually, JJ and Spider-Man, well, because JJ married Aunt May in the comics.
Okay.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Totally out of it. Totally out of it.
Grant.
Wow.
Step uncle. JJ. It's kind of weird. But yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. The recent Spider-Man stuff, like these recent comics, I understand why like old heads will be like, what are you doing? But from a story standpoint, I'm like, you're shaking it up. This isn't like old frail Aunt May. This is just like, it's Aunt May. Yeah, she still looks like Aunt May, but Aunt May is hitting the town.
Yeah.
And there's that realism.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make up for their bad writing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun just meeting just different people, different characters that I wouldn't have met as me, as Peter or whatever.
Right.
It's a lot wider audience. And it seems like I can just this suit is kind of like a gold card. You can go on in and be like, oh, here's access to this. I work with Batman at the Wells Fargo Center with the wings, and they're like, oh yeah, just this is your full access badge. Just walk around. I'm like, just walk around. They're like, yeah. So we're going to the Wells Fargo Center, and just like, wow, this is really cool. And it's like, oh, Spider-Man, what are you doing here?
From a man with humble beginnings, and you're walking around the Wells Fargo like, hey, what's up, Spidey?
Yeah.
Literally.
I'm going to the work a couple times like this.
How was work, sweetie? I saw Spider-Man today. That's cool.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, it would have made my kind of day if living in New York, if I ever saw any one of the heroes just casually walk by, it would stop traffic. It really would. Not that long ago either. So,
and it's it's the benefit of this newer generation, Frank. Like I said, with the advent of the internet, we have a lot more people being able to connect, and nerds being able to connect together. And nerds built the internet, so of course we're going to take advantage of it. That's where the cosplaying comes into, to where the biggest thing that blew my mind were cosplayers wanting you to pay them to show up at your event.
Yeah. They've gotten to the idea that they know that they can be a draw for fans. They can be a a bit of a a showstopper.
Yeah.
So they may want to get paid, but it could be. Look, I've seen some that are like, holy crap, that is excellent cosplay. Delco, you've got it. Like you got a tight overall look. But there are people that are they're just as tight, and they're like, some I would consider. But
That's what I thought about Delco Batman when I first met him.
sure, I mean, that guy was like, holy cow, that guy is on point.
So awesome.
The two of you are really on point. You stopped.
We got to get both of you on
during.
You
stopped traffic. Yeah, you stopped traffic at Dining Under the Stars during the day. I mean, I still remember. I mean, just kids like getting up out of their seats, spitting out their broccoli, and just running over to Spider-Man just to say hello. But man, you and Batman, of the two characters, you two guys really stole the show. I mean, that was unplanned, no one any doubt. Very few people did not know who you were.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Come on.
It was when I worked with one of my first events with the cosplayer care group was Cuts for a Cure. There's a little boy named Kieran who out in Reading, he was going through treatments. He was working with the organization, and the idea was to work with the barbershop, and any proceeds will go towards him and his family for stuff. Well, it was beautiful outside, so of course nobody came on in because everybody wasn't out enjoying the day. So we said, you know what? We got some poster board here in the corner. We have some markers. Let's write, Cuts for a Cure for Childhood Cancer, and we hit the streets. Within 2 hours' time, we made $970.
Wow.
Just up and in and over. Kieran was out there on the corner with us and stuff. Since then, he's been doing great. And after his last treatment of everything, he shot up a good 7-8 inches. All of a sudden, he's got flowing red hair, and he's doing great. But just something like that, to take that second and be like, wow, these people aren't like, what are you doing on the corner? Is this really doing this? Deadpool was the captain, and he walked around with the can, and all came together. We all counted and gave it to the parents because they were there too, and as things are going along, and Kieran just loved it because here's Batman over here, here's Wonder Woman, here's Deadpool, here's Captain America, and here's Black Widow over here, and he just thought, boom. So of course we got him a cape, we got him a little Captain America mask, and he was out there, proudly he's the hero with us too, and we're like holding him up. It was a Lion King moment. This is Kieran. Everybody, let's meet Kieran today, and this is who he is. This is what he's going through, and he gets to be a kid today. He doesn't have to go through the adult of having to face all this stuff. Today, he gets to be a child. So let's be a child with him.
That's awesome.
I just couldn't believe we made that much.
That's really awesome.
I'd love to do that in media. I'd love to do that on State Street. Every September, we come together for a push-up challenge for childhood cancer. I work with Jake's Dragon Foundation, and we do that. So speaking of heads, I reach out to the people at the gym, and I'll be like, you know what? You're doing push-ups. You want to do push-up challenge with us? All right, yeah. And they think we're going to do this. Explain it to them and say that this is all done online. You can do this in South Dakota. You can do this in California. You can do this on your time, any time of the day. You don't have to do this live. And jump on in. And it's such a huge month for the foundation with the fundraising, and everybody jumps on in. So somebody gets to do their workout that they're doing anyway. They also learned about something and how they can support by just being themselves. And then it just blossoms from there and just goes.
That's awesome.
Wow.
I mean, all the charity work and all the help alone is, it does so much for the people, and it's a lot to take in. But just from an entertainment aspect, I think that's what a lot of people focus on when they look at, cosplaying as a character. But the charity that you're doing, especially the one that I just saw because you popped a video up right before you came on here, you're doing something for Valentine's Day, which I thought was very sweet for the elderly.
Yeah. Sure.
We do it every year. Last year, I collected 1,700 cards and dropped them off at facilities. Ronald McDonald houses, Nemours got some supplies for the kids, and the rest of them around. Oh, yeah. I've been doing. I did a holiday greeting card drive as well too in December. I got 1,944 cards donated. Some from different schools. The Benchmark School kids got involved in it. St. Mary's kids got involved in it. and their teacher had been following me, and they've been helping me out doing that since I think my first one was in 2018. So each retirement home I went to, I said, would you guys be interested in the Valentine's Day card drive and participating? And oh yeah, definitely. They're like, a lot of times since it's not the holidays, everybody's sons or daughters will call, but they won't have the opportunity to stop on by. So the Valentine goes a long way. Riddle Village, one of them, the Delaware Charter School, some of their students made custom handmade, out of construction paper cards. Some of them had little Valentine jokes in them. They were awesome. So
wow.
Village for a couple of them were former teachers or former principals, and they're like, we haven't seen a card like this since years ago, since when we retired. This brings back so many memories. Thank you so much for them. And
It used to be a thing.
Tapping into another form of nostalgia, because now you're taking it outside of Spider-Man, but also something that you would see him do in a comic of visiting someone who, let's be honest, time might have forgotten about. And now you're giving them that, that fire, that hope, that good feeling inside. And, to be addicted to giving hope, I think, is a good addiction.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. It keeps me going, like on the bad days and stuff. It's like, this mask does a lot for me on this side of the mask as it does for others on the outside. And without the support of just somebody who's the little quiet guy in the corner who's smiling, to somebody who's going to say it's followed me for years. It's overwhelming at times because you're just like, wow, this is just incredible. I went to a birthday party for a kid in New Moors in the room, and I'm more or less just standing there, and I don't know what to do. I don't have kids. I've never been in this situation myself, and it's like, wow, they group picture around me, group hug, Spider-Man, we love you, we appreciate you coming on by. The little one, my hand, as he says he's laying in the bed and stuff. And we're all singing, enjoying cake and whatnot. And it's like, wow, this is really happening. So it's been an interesting gateway, towards a different type of life.
It's just a whole different life experience that you're, going through compared to anybody else, all because you were unemployed and you wanted to gamble on yourself. Ultimately, that's what it boiled down to. I'm going to go on me because I think I got this good idea here, and I think I got something, and it's paying off. All the different partnerships and affiliations and all the different events and all the lives that you've touched. I mean, you're a true Delco superhero. You're not even Delco. You're just a true superhero in the purest sense of the form of words, because you are dishing out hope to those who need it. Okay, you don't have to stop a bullet to be a hero. We like to put that in fiction, but you can take that as a metaphorical bullet, because you've been slinging webs all through the city like a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and it clearly has made a difference.
Thank you. That's pretty much the goal of it all. And now we're working with other cosplayers to show them this side of the fence too.
Oh yeah, out here it's sure, absolutely.
I'm telling
my
you,
girl jumped on into it.
An Avengers kind of event of just superheroes, I guarantee you, media would eat that shit up. Especially in the beautiful days of spring and summer. Hey guys, come on down to State Street, see the Avengers. Oh, shit, I'm going to see the Avengers.
Like you said, with Into the Spider-Verse, it's like they say, it's just a leap of faith.
There you go. Thread the needle and keep going. It's that leap of faith, and eventually, like Frank was saying, you're falling. Eventually, you start flapping them wings.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hopefully, before you hit the ground.
The lockdown had me get a little bit creative with things, since there weren't any events or hospital visits or anything like that. A lot of Zoom calls. What I did, I'd put a mask on top of this mask, and I'd go grocery shopping, or I go to the Walmart, and they'd be like, Spider-Man, what are you doing here? I'm like,
really? Wow.
everywhere. Oh, glad.
That is the only form of acceptable form of double masking. I got to tell you.
Yeah, that's
Wearing a
it. You know,
Spider-Man mask and then another mask.
of all the sites that you see
Only
at
way.
Walmart, I don't mind Spider-Man. That would be the least of it. Of all the things I see going on at Walmart.
And then you see
Like-
Spider-Man
like-
double masking. That is comedic gold. I'm sorry. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Even Spider-Man.
Just got to make them laugh. And, you don't know who I am anyway, so I can be whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's pretty cool how it's accepted.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you would have gone back to your 10-year-old self and be like, guess what, dude? You're going to be Spider-Man. You would have a completely different concept. You're like, all right, I'm getting bit by a spider. I'm going to have superpowers. Well, you do have superpowers, just not the ones from the comics. The golden gift of just having the presence, and because anybody can be, Santa Claus. We all know that bad Santa Claus, not the movie. Like, oh my God, that guy smelled.
Yeah.
Santa not have running water up in the North Pole? Are the pipes frozen? What's going on? But to have the kind of like the acknowledgement, being able to walk through the Wells Fargo, being attached to the Phillies, being attached to all these great, charity, companies. It's something that speaks to your character as a person behind the mask, and you could wear that mask for the rest of your life.
I'm going to.
It's you, that core Spider-Man is in there, and you really embody it. And it's like if you were trying to take Spider-Man and make him realistic in our world, like that's what Spider-Man would be. He'd be charity worker, the spider powers, and that's what it would do. But it didn't mean that he didn't help and change different people's lives, because different people, especially with people, connecting to something, especially a character like Spider-Man in, formative years and stuff like that, it could mean 100% different life on a young child. And especially given the hope on somebody like who has, an illness, who's in the hospital, they have cancer. It's not looking good when you're 7 and the doctor's like, I don't know, you might live. It's not something anybody wants to have to experience. But then seeing Spider-Man walk through the door.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing that it means, everything to everyone in that room. And I can't wait to see you in April, bud, because the Great Media Comic-Con, it's going to be amazing. The one thing, I almost forgot. You should expand out. Blue Hen Comic-Con, Ocean City Comic-Con. We have Frank and I, infamously, we know Iron Man. We met Iron Man a couple times at Blue Hen, and we saw him again at Ocean City. Super cool dude. He's gonna be. He told me he's gonna be working on a cell shade. I gotta reach out to the Ocean City owner, because I gotta get him to get me in touch with Iron Man, because
James.
I want to have Iron Man on too.
Okay.
If I'm making my superhero wish list, Iron Man's after Spider-Man, obviously.
He's just doing a mashup. That's all he's doing. He's just doing a mashup. Wherever you get in the book, wherever's going to swing by, fly by, jump in, or just be teleported, that's the one he wants. So that's good.
Hey, superheroes, go over to pjandwh.com, hit the contact us page, and let me know you're a superhero, because, obviously, we want to hunt you, okay? I'm a nerd. I want to hunt my superheroes, especially the ones in my local area. I got to know where my local superheroes are. Damn it. Do you see the news? You got to help.
My girlfriend is Spider-Gwen. She's done that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? So there's a Delco Spider-Gwen.
In the work? Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. And where is she?
She's a former professional ballerina.
Oh.
Out of LA for a bunch of years, and he's used to the costuming and whatnot. We met through my friend who had the blood drive, and she's been MJ. She has red hair So I told her she could. It's kind of interesting how you are MJ, and on Spider Gwen costume training, like anytime, 3 times actually. Since we work with the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation as well for their event at the King of Prussia Mall.
Okay.
They have runway event for the kids. What they do is, what do you want to be when I grow up? I want to be a doctor. So they reach out and they go nationwide and find a doctor in the area who will walk the runway with the child. They've done Spider-Man, they've done ballet, they've done.
That's so cool. What do you want to be, a
That is
doctor?
really
And you
nice.
walk down with a doctor? That's so dope. These people in charity are so creative, man. I am so impressed. That's awesome.
I didn't since my girlfriend has red hair, I didn't recognize the first time she came out as Spider-Gwen with the blonde wig on. I was, how you doing? I was like, I'm sorry, let me slide over. She's like, it's me. But it was a good time. We were down with the Philadelphia. They run what they call their Fearless 43 through a week with the team, meals, practices, game events, different things, planning and meeting everything. And then at the end of the time, they have the big video of their week on the whole screen there. So they bring the kids out to midfield, and they're all looking at the big screen, and this is what we did. The fans are going crazy, and they snuck 5 of us in back where the team comes on out of the tunnel on the short end of the field, and they say, yeah, we have a surprise for you. The kids turn around, and boom, there's Miles, there's Spider-Man, there's Spider-Gwen, there's Batman, there's one of the Incredibles was there too.
That's awesome.
And we're all just like, the kids just all come running at once. Fans go crazy, and that was my first time working with her as Spider-Gwen, and she took it like a champ. She's doing ballet poses with the kids. She's kneeled down, she's smiling. I'm just like, wow. She's got it inside her.
She's a natural. She's a natural.
Hey, that's awesome.
And she says, keep going, just keep going. This year's been a little different for me because people are like, I don't know if you look like Spider-Man in the suit and this and that kind of stuff. And she's like, it doesn't matter. You got to remember that even if you make one smile out of 1,000, you did your job. Yep. And it's been a great, booster, little kick in the rear, just what are you doing? Get out of your head and get into the event.
You gotta have that. You gotta have that person to keep you on that path, because it's easy to let the negative comments and all that negative energy just kind of alter you. And having that person that knows you and said, no, get out of there. Come on. Keep going. Yeah. That means the world, especially because she's that support. Every superhero, if I know anything from the TV shows I've watched all these years, they need that support character.
Oh yeah, definitely. So she's definitely a winner with this. I feel lucky, at least.
That's fantastic, man. That really is.
Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen. There's a bit of comic poetry and events with you too. You know what I mean? It's beautiful.
We're writing the story as it seems.
Yeah, man.
So it's pretty neat. There's been a lot of funny times during things. I surprised some guys in the club out in Phoenixville at Spider-Man. I was doing a wrap-up video. There was I did a fundraiser where they had me, hold the items up for the black tie event, all the auction items up.
That's awesome.
So we were doing that, and then I go in the back to change on out, and I'm doing, hey guys, I'm here at Phoenixville Country Club. This is what we did tonight. We were Designed for Hope. I'll have videos and pictures up soon. Have a good one. And all of a sudden, they come in at the end. Well, here's Spider-Man, because I can only see it at a little circle area, so I couldn't really see him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Carpeted, beautiful lockers, wood lockers, all that kind of stuff. Leather chairs everywhere. Yeah, exactly. And they came, Spider-Man. I didn't know. They've been hanging out. They were at the event. They were drinking the whole time. Oh my gosh, what are you doing here? So I'm like, oh my God. And I ran out like you would in the comic book. It was hilarious.
God, that's Spider-Man.
It was so. It was exactly. So there's
nice. That's fantastic, man. That is really, really awesome.
You're doing the Lord's work ultimately, and I mean, I'd love to, because I imagine our schedules are clashed, but I'd love to be able to go live with you at an event. Obviously, we're going to do Great Media Comic-Con, but I'd love to be able to video and actually show my wall jangers the light behind the kids' eyes instantly brighten when they see that Spider-Man.
It's different experience it. Like it was Frank when I first met you. You know, first of all, the artwork that you do, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can drive stick. I can do stick figures. You know, and this guy's doing this.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And
Glad
see
you like it.
how you brought Spider-Man and other characters to life. I'm like, this guy. First of all, he has it in the heart. Second of all, the talent, and he's sharing it with us. That's to me a blessing. And then Matt, you said more than once or twice, you're like, you're doing the local. You have no idea how much that means. That's just like, wow, this is incredible. Somebody, I know your first name. I've seen you at the Comic-Con. I shook your hand, but I don't know, you know, like what's his favorite meal? Where's he like to go in Delco? You know, that kind of
Right.
you know, and you say something like that to me, that's just from observation. That means a lot. So thank you very much for that. That I really appreciate.
Man.
I see effort because I've been podcasting for 10 years with Projangers and Wall Hangers. I've been doing it for 5 years now, going on 6. And I, much to the anger of my podcast partner and business partner, Christopher Bristow, I've never been concerned about money. I do podcasting because I love it and because it's fun. And that's why I am here. Now with Tales of the Hunted, I meet so many amazing people through podcasting and all that. And I know people want to know about their stuff. I was talking to Lisa Wilcox from Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5. And just through doing some research with her, I found out she had a jewelry company. Then when I mentioned it on the podcast, my podcast partner, Katerina Thermascara, our wonderful woman, she was like, oh, I have some of that jewelry. It's that kind of thing. And I'm like,
Sure.
oh, I see this here. You know, it's that thing of, I see something. You know, I'm just a humble podcaster who, you know, has a great setup thanks to Chris. But it's being able to have a podcast, especially now, it's having that soapbox, having that space for a person to just be able to talk, not judge. And, you know, we try to build everybody up here, and especially with people who do great work. And, you know, I say it's great work because from working in the service industry, realize the effort that goes into actually dealing with a lot of people, because everybody likes a person, but when you get people, that's when it gets hairy, because that's when you have the mob mentality and the crowd control and all that. And being able to successfully brighten people's days is something that I think people don't focus enough on. We get all this bad press of what's happening wrong in the world. It's one of the things that I've steered away from with Projangers.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about something that's happening in the world if I can make it funny. Other than that, this is the happy hour, gang. We are having fun. We're letting people know where they can have fun and where they can find these great characters, people, content, and everything that they want to see, because that's what I think everybody needs in their life, because you got that from local radio back in the day. Hey, this person's going to be at this event in a local area, and that you don't, people don't listen to the radio unless you're at work. And then it's, all right, what station is everybody like?
Yeah.
I don't like that one, Greg. No. Tuesday. You know what? Wednesdays, maybe. You know? Now with, like, once again, technology, everybody is a Cyberman, and they have their AirPods in, they have their own little bubbles and all that. So being able to have a platform to where we can have a long format conversation about what you're doing, how you're helping people, the different organizations that you help, and past people that you've seen, because I didn't even know there was a cosplayer Deadpool. That was one of the people I'm like, oh man, Deadpool would be cool. I got a Deadpool mask right over there. When I was doing gameplay content with Projangers a while ago, I had my brother had the idea of doing a loop. So I made Matt Pool. I wore my fedora and my Deadpool mask. And the problem with the Deadpool mask is that it's rubber. And if you enjoy breathing, you have to be very controlled in your breathing patterns. Otherwise, you'll suffocate. So I knew that mask was out, and that's why I was like, you know what? Cloth is not bad. Cloth is very breathable.
Yeah.
It's very breathable.
Yeah, this is like an Under Armour material.
Okay.
I'll get hot and sweat in it, but then once I get a breathe or whatever, it'll cool me right down. So I haven't really overheated too much.
I mean, not that I want to waterboard Spider-Man, but have you tried swimming?
No, I was actually invited to a couple different pool events for like.
Wow.
I don't
Really?
Nobody thought of that.
Really?
Like, it's gonna be hard to breathe in the mask. Like, what happened to Spidey?
Yeah,
Where'd he go?
Bottom of the pool,
So I've had a couple of those that I've had to do.
Just make sure there's a lifeguard on duty if you do that event.
Definitely. Yeah.
Because that would be waterboarding, especially. Oh man, if you try to freestyle, I don't know, man. I don't know.
We did. Batman and I did a 2-year-old birthday party down in Delaware, and he was swimming around the pool, and we're like, "Well, what are we supposed to do?" So we each sat on different sides of the pool, and we're just like, like doing a little dodgeball with the pool toys and stuff. The best we come up with. He's like, "I'm not getting." Like, I'm
Right.
Ah!
Well, that's great.
Spiders don't do water. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You remember the nursery rhyme? You guys do that? It's fine. Yeah, we don't like water. We don't do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just add that in the contract. Spiders don't get wet.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. But it's once again, like I mentioned with Delco Batman, it's that scene in Ghostbusters when they're doing the kids' party, except it's cool and they want you to be there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Spidey, this has been a blast, man. We got to have you back
Absolutely.
on. We're going to have you back on.
Right.
I've enjoyed this. I haven't been able to sit in an open forum and basically just like talk about Spidey as long, with the amount of time we've had today. There's been some sad moments, there have been some proud moments, and there have been some super heartfelt moments, over the years. And it's kind of nice to be able to, just talk about it. And whoever's watching this, say, like, maybe this will be a little boost for them saying, this is okay. Just go ahead and do it and trust your reaction. Be able to catch yourself if you fall.
Exactly. That's what I'm hoping, man. And that's why you're always welcome back on. You do a charity event, you want to talk about it, you're always welcome. Just send me a line. I always got a box for our friendly neighborhood wall crawler, man.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
So
Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here, really.
Absolutely. And, and even if you get a new suit, this is the place to fucking debut it. Because guess where Delco Batman debuted his new suit? Right on this podcast. We're full of breaking news. But one of the things I like to do is end off this podcast with the same bit of music that I have purchased ever so long ago. This is the Purge Hangers and Wall Hangers Media Network, gang, and this is none other than Tales of the Hunted. We want you to hop on out there and catch our friendly neighborhood web crawler swinging through our streets to a local event or charity event near you. Because it's going to brighten up your day, it's going to change your mood, and ultimately make you feel better, which is what we want you to feel on this podcast. Because until next time, we love you, we miss you, we want to see you then. Until the next hunt, game on, boys and girls. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, that looks really good, man.
Already doing
that looks really
great.
good.
Already doing great on it. And you know what? I just had a quick idea that me and Spidey can record real quick because Amazon's great. I already realized, my brother said it too. I probably should have gotten the Miles Morales, but I got a Spidey mask.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, classic 1960s Spider-Man.
And it came with the gloves.
Oh, wow.
And the gloves.
Nice.
That's why I was like, and that's why I just clicked on it because I was like, oh, mask and gloves. And it was like January 3rd. And I was like, oh no! Duh, that's the wrong day. It's a complete wrong day for Spidey. And then you were like, oh man, I can't make it. And I was like, the gods are smiling on me. I need to do this. So, oh my God, 2 Spideys.
Whoa, look at that.
Bye.